I don't think I have this job if Rick doesn't back me. Didn't have to. He didn't know me that very well at all before we got together. I learned a lot about the game from Rick Davis. I don't think I have this job if Rick doesn't back me. Didn't have to. He didn't know me that very well at all before we got together. But for whatever reason, he was comfortable with me. And I don't think I have this job without him. They all do, and they've all brought other things to me in terms of my growth as a broadcaster. After Rick decided he wanted to leave broadcasting and AYSO and go move to Kansas, where he and his wife and his family are today and living well. Ralph Perez, who was the assistant coach and then moved to a different position in the Galaxy organization, joined me in the broadcast booth. And Ralph never was a broadcaster before in his life, and so it took a little time for Ralph to get comfortable. But from there, I learned from a coach's point of view on the game from Ralph, and to this day, one of my best friends. From there, Cobi Jones. First time I broadcast with a player that I broadcast his games. And from Cobi, I learned how to relax a little bit more and have a little fun. Because Cobi, that's when Cobi's comfortable. If Cobi's relaxed, then he's good. And one of the things I learned from him is how to relax and be a little bit more comfortable and have a good time and not be so serious all the time. And from him, I also have a different point of view, the today's player perspective. And he has a very good eye. He sees the game very well in terms of, you know, the Galaxy might have a ball that just kind of broke away in their own defensive third, but he sees it already developing in the counterattack. And he's smacking me on the arm, and I'm like, okay, I got it, but I still have to broadcast the game, and which is fun. And I earned a pretty good friendship from Cobi Jones, and it was an honor to announce his games, his championships, and now it's certainly an honor to be alongside him. I have Dan Kennedy for some of the radio games.
Big guy, strong guy.
Yeah, you know, and I like Dan as well. It's kind of weird because some of these guys that are now retiring are finding their ways in the broadcast booths, and you see yourself as an elder statesman to a certain degree because you broadcast many of their games. And hopefully that'll be more, because that means I'm going to be around a lot longer. But from every one of them, I've garnered a friendship. Some a little bit stronger than others. Some I could call family to a certain degree. I would say Rick, I would say Ralph, and Cobi's there as well. And they've all made me better along the way.
Well, first let me say about Dallas, Kyle Rote Jr.
Okay.
That was when I started playing. I had the little ankle wrap around the 10-foot cord in the soccer ball. And then from there, it was Ricky Davis was my inspiration. So I love to hear you speak.
It's funny.
I actually called him before this interview just to tell him I was going to talk to him.
Oh, Rick, it's funny. It took a couple of years until he finally had said, you know, you're the only one that still calls me Ricky. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what I remember you as Ricky Davis with the Cosmos, and Ricky Davis playing indoor soccer when you had to go play indoor soccer. So I remember you as Ricky Davis. And it was funny because it was he and his wife were together, and we all laughed. And then from there, I went to Rick, you know, but it was always Ricky Davis for me also. Well, I don't look at it that way. I look at it more of, I'm fortunate the Galaxy wants me around. That's the way I see it. I don't have a desire to go broadcast somewhere else. My desire is to stay here as long as the Galaxy is willing to have me. You know, that's the way I see it. I didn't know Myron Cope, interviewed him a couple times. I imagine he enjoyed being part of the Pittsburgh scene more than being a national guy. And if the opportunity came, you know, he probably wouldn't turn it down, but it would be only added on. That's the way I see it. I think being the voice of a team, especially one as successful as the LA Galaxy, is an honor. Now, Do we all want to make a little more money along the way? Of course we do. Of course we do. But I think, you know, the Galaxy keeping me around and having my back the way they have over the years, that's something that I hope I can keep going for years to come.
Well, I can only speak for one fan, and I love you, and we're blessed to have you. And Chivas is weak, and this is Galaxy Town, Los Angeles. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
Joe Tutino.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Very kind of you.
God bless. Thank you.